Welcome back to Talk in Depth. This is the first review of 2018, and I thought it'd be cool to talk about the movie Mom and Dad. So Mom and Dad is a movie about a mass hysteria that makes parents want to kill their children. And not any children in general, just their own children. No one else, just their own. And it's not explained why. And so Nicolas Cage and Selma Blair are married and they have 2 kids together, and they're a very nice happy family, and then this mass hysteria happens, and the movie is about the kids trying to escape the house that they live in because Nick Cage and Selma Blair are trying to kill them. So let's start off about the thing I liked the most about this movie. The thing that really is probably going to get this movie to sell and people are going to go see it because of this, and that's Nicolas Cage. I mean, almost everyone knows who Nicolas Cage is. He's one of the biggest names in Hollywood. He's been around forever. And so to get him in a movie like this, it's a really good opportunity. And I think they knew that, and that's what's making the movie, sell, because people want to see a movie with Nicolas Cage. I mean, Selma Blair is a pretty famous actress, but if you have Nicolas Cage, people are going to be like, oh, I'm going to go see that. I mean, he's made some pretty horrible movies, but with a plot like this, it's interesting to people because I'm not really sure, I could be wrong about this, but I've never really heard or seen of a movie where parents try to kill their own children for an unexplained and unknowable reason. But he was really good in this movie. When he was normal and when he was crazy, he just did a really good job playing the character, because the thing that they keep touching upon in the movie is that, we have, it takes place in the current time, and so, with social media and stuff, the parents, aren't up to date because they're all in their mid 40s and 50s, and so, they have teenager kids who are, more addicted to being on their cell phones than spending time with them, and they show various flashbacks of how the parents are sad because they're getting older, They're not as young as they used to be, and they feel sad about that, and Nicolas Cage does a really good job at showing, he is upset. He wanted to do things with his life that I wouldn't really say are unachievable, but he had very high expectations when he was a younger man, and now that he's a middle-aged man with a family, a job, and a house, he's upset because that's where he didn't want to be there. I mean, he did, but he didn't expect it to be like that and that soon. But overall, Nick Cage was the best thing about this movie. He just does a really good job portraying his character, and it was really enjoyable. Now, let's talk about some of the things that were the downfall for the movie. And the first thing is, the movie's really short. It's only 83 minutes long. And I mean, with a movie, I guess when you see a movie like this, you could say, oh, they could have a movie and tell a story in that amount of time, but I feel like with something like this, it maybe should have been 10 minutes longer, just to explain a little bit more of, what caused this. And I mean, it wasn't a bad amount of time that we got. I just wish we could have seen more, because honestly, I doubt we're going to get a sequel. Another thing that really brought the movie down, and this plays into the timing, is that the movie took a really long time to find its footing. It took a really long time to get to when the parents actually started going crazy, especially the Nicolas Cage and Selma Blair characters. Like I said, the movie's only 83 minutes long, and it's probably not even till the halfway mark, probably after that, of when, we get to what was mostly shown in the trailer of Nicolas Cage and Selma Blair going crazy and trying to kill their kids. And that's not a spoiler, I'm just warning you, this movie does take a while to, get into the groove of things. And that was a little disappointing, because I was sitting and I was watching and I was like, okay, I saw the trailer, I know what's going to happen and where, but when is it happening? And I was sitting there for, half of the movie, and I'm like, oh my God, this still hasn't happened yet. And we only have, 45 minutes left, and it was kind of crazy. I don't know. That was one of the things that was a little strange about this, is that it took so long to get into it because there needed to be so much backstory. And that's another thing. Flashbacks and backstory and exposition. Like I said, I like the Nicolas Cage stuff about him growing up, but there were other things with the younger boy and the wife and the daughter that I just didn't really care about in this movie, because they didn't really need to be in the movie. I mean, they could have kept the Selma Blair stuff to show why she could have gone crazy, but the stuff with the kids, they just didn't need to have that because it wasn't relevant. I don't really care if they've gotten in trouble at school. I want to know how they treat their parents. They could have showed that, because then it would have given the parents a real motivation to want to kill their kids. And like I said, there were flashbacks in the movie, and one of the minor complaints I had about this isn't as big as the other two, but some of the flashbacks were placed in really weird spots in this movie. Like, they just would have one scene in a movie and then cut to a flashback and then keep going with the movie, and they wouldn't even touch upon the flashback until the last 10 minutes. I'm not even joking, there's one flashback in the first 5 to 10 minutes of the movie, and they had it, and I had no clue what it meant. And I was like, okay, that's a little strange. And then it kept going with the movie, and they didn't even explain that flashback until the last 10 minutes. And I was like, oh, so I sat here for like 70 minutes waiting to figure out what this meant. It was a little strange, and it was kind of annoying because they did that other times throughout the movie. They just had unnecessary flashbacks in weird spots. I know I'm making it sound like I really didn't like this movie. I did. It's not good, but it's not bad. It's mediocre. It's not one I'm going to say, oh, that I need to watch that right now. It's probably one I won't see for maybe like another 3 years, and I'll just be bored home one night and I'll be like, oh, I'll watch this. It was interesting. It does have a really good plot. I really like the idea of this unknown thing that causes parents to kill their kids. It's a really good idea. It was just executed poorly. If the movie was a bit longer and had a bit more relevant information to give, I think it really would have been better. Like I said, it's not bad, but it's not good. It's mediocre. I'm going to give Mom and Dad a 5 out of 10. I think that's a fair score for being in the middle. Not being good, but not being bad. In the middle. Thank you all so much for listening. If you've liked what you listened to on here and you want to listen to more, go like, comment, and subscribe. That'd be really helpful, and I would really appreciate it. The links to all of my social medias are listed down below in the description. Other than that, this has been A Talk in Depth.